spit out the words before slamming the final drawer on his desk. Normally, that would have splintered the furniture into matchsticks, so he must have restrained himself, since the desk barely quivered.
I must have missed it.
She narrowed her eyes. Was he favoring his right arm? She was pretty sure he was, and keeping it tucked close to his chest, hissing when he moved it. Dracula had been oddly quiet on the trip over. He'd opted to drive, which she assumed was because she lacked the ability to phase into a bat and fly. But this time, he didn't even ask her to try or insist that she could do it if only she focused. Maybe he was finally giving up that battle, realizing she'd develop her vampire powers in her own time, and that pressure didn't help. Not that she minded, at least not usually. And when her confidence faltered, the ghouls were always there to reassure her that she was clawsome because of her freaky flaws. It must be so boring to be a normie human. She knew the official reasons for keeping the monster world magically hidden from the human one was because of fear of anti-monster discrimination and attacks. But was it also because humans would be jealous if they knew monsters were real and what they could do? Ghoulia might know.
Draculaura?
Dracula cleared his throat, and she had the sense this wasn't the first time he'd called her name. He looked pale. Well, even paler than usual.
Are you listening to me?
He'd apparently given up his search and was leaning back in his leather desk chair. Sweat had dampened the collar of his always immaculate shirt and darked the hair at his temples. He'd always had a few gray streaks. You don't live for millennia without a few souvenirs. But he suddenly looked older. Old. The thought made Draculaura shiver. Of course, Dad. She hopped up on the side of his desk and began to rearrange his pens. He had them sorted by type, ballpoint, fountain, quill, but she liked it better when they were grouped by color. Or, actually, she just liked to see him squirm. Dracula was almost always somber, today more than usual, but she could usually tempt him into smiling and flashing some fang.
I need you to hear me,
he said, pressing his left hand to his chest and clearing his throat again.
In case someday I'm not here for you.
What are you talking about? Draculaura laughed as she snuck a highlighter and a pencil among his fountain pens. You're immortal. He continued as if she hadn't interrupted.
And in case I'm not here, there are some things.
Are you going on a trip? Draculaura dropped the pens, surprised he didn't flinch when they landed helter-skelter on his desk. Can I come? You're not retiring from the school board, are you? Monster High needs you.
Draculaura, this is important.
Dracula sat upright in his chair, his brows converging in an expression that would have made anyone but his daughter pee their pants.
Do you remember the end-of-the-year party at the Stein's house?
She waved a quill in his direction. Of course. But she wasn't sure how the two halves of that statement fit together. She thought parties were important, but he rarely did. And a party that had occurred a week ago? Did something happen there?
Do you remember how I got sunburned?
Yes. She rolled her eyes. Was this going to be some sort of parental lecture after all? But if you remember, I told you to put on sunscreen, and I was following you around with a bottle of SPF 1000, but every time I tried to give it to you, some monster pulled you into a conversation. Parties were not her dad's happy place, but it made everyone else in the monster community so happy to see him. There'd practically been a line of monsters waiting to say hi, to ask his opinion, to get just 1 second of his attention and acknowledgement. 1 second is all that most monsters could